Hello everybody, hope you're all having a great day. If you're watching this video, you've probably spent a lot of time trying to make your own horror game in Roblox, but eventually gave up because, let's be honest, it's probably your first time coding and you've got no clue what you're doing. Well, don't worry my friends, because I'm here to help you. Alright, so in this video we'll be trying to create the health and the sprinting systems. So the first thing you want to do is expand starter player, and under starter character scripts you want to add a local script and name it whatever you'd like. In this case I would name it health and sprinting systems. And what this does is whenever I run the game, it adds that script to my character, as you can see here. So the first thing we'd like to do is go ahead and call the services that we need. One of which is the context action service, or also known that as CAS. So game get service, context action service. And the second service that we'd like to call is the run service. And don't worry if you haven't used these two services, I will explain uh, every step of the way to you guys later on. So we're going to also need the player service, because we'd like to access the local player and the humanoid of the local player. And humanoid player.character find for child human. Alright, so what we'd like to do is, if you run the game and click on the character and click on the humanoid, and under the properties panel scroll all the way down, you find this attributes section, and here you can add as many attributes as you like. For example, sprint, and you can give these attributes any value. For example, an int value, as you can see here, or a boolean value, or even strings. I forgot them. Yeah. And this is very helpful because we can later on access these attributes in different parts of our code to make changes. And you can also detect whether these values are being changed. So that would help with the UI later on. So we want to create an attributes table and write all the attributes that we want to add. So for now we need 3, but whenever we add the health system we're going to need 4. So first is a sprint, which is going to be a boolean. We need exhaustion, which is also a boolean. And we need stamina, which is equal to 100. Now, here's the thing. We want to add these attributes to the attribute section of our humanoid in the properties panel, right? We can do this using set attribute function, and I will explain it in a second. So first, create a for loop for this attribute table. So for each attribute and the value of the attribute in attribute table, do the following. So we are going to want to set, so it takes two values. The first one is the string, which is basically the name. So for example, I want this to be sprint, which is whatever value I have given here, whatever attributes I have here. So I would give this as a form of string because it's a name. And the second value is this value that I have here, which can be boolean or a number or a string. If we go ahead and print the attribute and value and run the game, uh, if you go ahead and run this, you see that the first one, which is attribute, is the name, and the second one, which is the value, is the value that I have given to that name. So we can go ahead and just stop the game, and we can set attribute. So humanoid set attribute value. And now if I go ahead and run the game, and if I go under character and click on the humanoid, scroll all the way down, you can see that these attributes have been added. And here exhaustion is a boolean, sprint is a boolean, and stamina is an int value. Alright, so now let's call the bind action function from the context action service. So context action service, bind action, and this takes three values, but you can also add infinite values afterwards, but these three values you actually need. So first is the action name, which is the name of the action, so just sprinting. And the second one is the function you'd like to bind to this bind action function. So we're going to create a function here, local function sprint, and we're going to take in two values. These are given to you by default. The first one is the action name, which is this one, and the second one is the input state. So we're going to call a sprint here, and the last one is create touch button, which is for mobile compatibility. So it will create a button for mobile users where when they press it, this action is basically taking place. So this function is being run. And we do not need that, but if you would like to add it, I have linked a video in the description which you can watch, and it will help you with this situation. And lastly, we have enum dot keycode dot left shift. You can put anything that you want for sprinting, but I would like to have left shift because I'm used to it. And here we can go ahead and check if the action name is equal to sprinting, and if so, if our input state is equal to enum dot input state, user input state dot begin. So this checks if the player has begun holding the left shift. Then we would like to set the attribute of this attribute that we have had, which is now equal to false. So we're going to have humanoid set attribute sprint and we're going to make it true. And on the contrary, else if input state is equal to enum dot user input state dot end, then we would like to set the attribute of sprint to false. And we would also like to change the humanoid speed. So first let me show you guys what will happen here in game. So if we go ahead and open here and humanoid and scroll down to our so humanoid, scroll down to our attributes. If I am holding shift, sprint is true. If I pick up my finger from the shift, it's now false. And you will see how we will use this later to change our stamina. Alright. And now we would like to change the humanoid.walk speed to, let's say, any walk speed you'd like. I just put 40 for demonstration. You can have any other walk speed. And we want our base walk speed to be just the normal walk speed your character would usually have, which is 16. So if you look, my speed increases, and if I lift my finger up, my speed decreases. So now we have done this, and now we would like to run the run service. So what does run service do, first of all? So if I go ahead and call run service that renders left function, so here I can get delta time, which it's probably better if you're a beginner not to deal with. It's quite complicated. Um, but the main idea behind run service is every second that the game runs, this run service is being called. So basically, whatever you write in here, every second it's being run, and you can check whether something has changed and then make changes based on the value that has changed. And run service is quite useful, but I recommend if you have any values within there, prevent your code being overrun by using if. So if I print something, for example, print hello within the run service, as you can see here, it's going to print hello every millisecond basically. So as you can see here, it's going up and it's going up and it's going up. And after a while, as you can see, I'm already lagging because it's printing hello so many times. So if you do not prevent this from happening every millisecond, then you're going to have some lag within your games. So now, we would like to access our sprint. So you guys remember we set this attribute within our humanoid. So now we want to retrieve that value. So it's going to equal to humanoid get attribute sprint. And now if I go ahead and print sprint, as you can see here, it's false. When I'm running, it's true. When I'm not running, it's false. Okay. So the second thing with what we'd like to retrieve is our stamina. And we will do the exact same thing with stamina. And the third thing we'd like to retrieve is our exhaustion. Exhaustion. Okay. Now, we want to check if our sprinting is true. So if sprint is equal to true, then stamina minus equals 1. And let's just showcase what will happen here. So here right now, I'm not running. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. So we would afterwards we'd like to go ahead and do the following. Humanoid set attribute stamina and stamina. So we'd like to update our stamina every second. And here, if I go here, humanoid, and here you can see stamina, right? So right now I'm just running, I'm sprinting, but when I'm sprinting, my stamina is decreasing, and here I have no failsafe to check whether stamina is negative or not. So I would like to check if stamina is negative, is equal to 0. So and stamina, like, we can have it inside actually. So if stamina is not equal to 0, then you can run the following. Else, if it is equal to 0, then we're going to do the following. Humanoid set attribute running. Well, not really. You don't need to do that. We're going to do the following. Humanoid dot walk speed is equal to 16, which is the base walk speed. So right now, if I go ahead and run, we can see the attribute. Once it hits 0, I am back to the base walk speed and I cannot run anymore. So now we need to bring back our stamina, right? So what I'd like to do here, so we checked if sprinting is true. Else, if sprint is equal to false, then we'd like to check if stamina is not equal to 100. As long as stamina is not equal to 100, we like to add to our stamina. So stamina plus equals 1 and humanoid set attribute stamina. So we are checking if the stamina is not equal to 100, so we prevent it from going above 100. And if you go here and if we check humanoid, and now my stamina has become 0. If I lift my finger up, it's going to start increasing. But here's the problem. I think you have run into this problem. So if I stand still, but I'm still holding down shift, my stamina does not continue increasing. Now there is an easy fix to this problem, and what we can do is add a second parameter. So we can check if humanoid dot move direction dot magnitude is not equal to 0. And here we have to add another parameter as well, and we have so either if sprinting is false or the humanoid dot move direction dot magnitude is equal to 0. So the player is not moving. And we would also like to add exhaustion. So let's say as a human I'm running for a while, so I can either rest in the middle and then once I've recovered my energy I can continue running, or I overuse my body's energy and then I am exhausted at the end and I have to rest for a longer amount of time before I can start running. So we're going to, this is why we added this exhaustion attribute. So after this, we're going to do the following: humanoid set attribute exhaustion, and it's going to be true now. We'd also like to add a new value, which is old time. And here, old time is equal to tick. Basically, we are saying that whenever the humanoid is tired, the old time, so the last time that it was tired, is equal to tick, which is like exactly at that moment, the time at that moment. And here we're going to add a second parameter. So if stamina is not equal to 100, if, I forgot to copy, if, oh, I forget, if exhaustion is equal to true, then we'd like to check if old time, if tick minus old time is more than 2, then we can continue running, basically increasing the stamina. On the other hand, else if, yeah, okay, else we'd like to just add the stamina. So now we have made the sprinting system. Now if I run the game and if we go ahead and click on humanoid, scroll down here to stamina, so when I'm running it decreases, and now I'm exhausted. For 2 seconds it's not increasing. After 2 seconds it's increasing. Now if I'm running and I stop running, it starts increasing. I'm holding shift right now, by the way, so I'm holding shift, it's still increasing, and if I just stop, it's going to increase. One thing I forgot to add before we continue. So after this, we have done this, we would like to set exhaustion back to false. Alright, so now we're going to create our UI. So under starter GUI, add a screen GUI, and we're going to name this health, health, and sprint GUI. And we're going to add 2 frames within here, one of them for our health, and the second one for our stamina. We're going to change the background color to dark black and transparency to 0.4, and we'll move them down here and resize them. This is stamina, so it goes above. So and inside of each we're going to add another frame, and this is going to be our field bars. Field bar. And for health it's going to be, let's say, green with a transparency of 0.2, and for our stamina it's going to be blue, again transparency of 0.2, and the size is going to be 1010. So this is basically a scale, and 1010. One thing I forgot is if you have this plugin, you can use it to convert the position and size into scale. If you don't, you can do it manually over here. Alright, so everything's fixed. And now we're going to add a local script within our GUI, and we're going to reference our local player. So players, get service players, player, and here we're going to wait for the character to be added if it's not added yet, or character player dot character added, wait, and humanoid is going to equal to character find first child humanoid. We're going to also reference our GUI. So GUI is equal to script.parent, and our health field bar is equal to GUI dot health dot field bar, and stamina field bar is equal to GUI dot stamina dot field bar. Alright, so we have referenced everything that we need, and what we're going to do next is go ahead and check whether there is a change within an attribute, and this is how you do it. Humanoid get attribute change signal, and this takes the name of the attribute that we want to check whether it has changed or not, and we're going to do stamina because we want to check if stamina has changed or not. And here we're going to connect the function and first we're going to get our stamina because we want to basically change the size based on whatever stamina we have. So humanoid gets attributes stamina, and here we're going to change the size of our stamina. So stamina field bar dot size is equal to udim2.new, and it's going to be stamina over 100, 0, 1, and 100, because we don't want to change this. We just want to change our x-axis as a percentage of the whole. So if I go ahead and play, as you can see, our stamina bar is changing based on our stamina. So now I will give you guys 5 seconds to pause the video and go ahead and try to make the health system on your own, based on whatever you've learned so far. After 5 seconds are over, I will write the code, and you can compare your code with mine, and who knows, maybe you created a better system than whatever I've created. Alright, so let's begin. The first thing we'd want to do is retrieve our health. So health is equal to humanoid get attribute health, and we want to check if our humanoid dot health is not equal to the current health that we have here. Okay, if not, then we're going to set attributes. So we're going to change our attribute of health to the current health of the player. Okay, and here we're going to basically create one for health. So humanoid get attributes, change signal health connect function, and we're going to retrieve health and health field bar dot size is equal to udim2.new health over 100, 0, 1, 0. Alright, so now this is over, and if I run the game, as you can see, if I go ahead and change the health here, so health from 100 to 50, it also changes here. Back to 100, it also changes here. Alright, but we can improve on this basically. So at the current state, whenever our health changes, so if I change my health to 50, it just immediately changes. There is no animation, and we can animate it using the twin service. So if I call twin service here, game get service twin service, and create a twin info. So twin info is equal to twin info.new, which takes a couple parameters. The first one is time, so the amount of time that it takes for the animation to play. 0.5 is good enough. Then it's easing style, so enum.easing style.sign. You can use whichever easing style you'd like. And easing direction, so enum.easing direction.out. And we have repeat count, reverse, and delay time. So we don't want any of these. We don't want to repeat the animation. We do not want to reverse the animation, and we also don't want to delay the animation. Now here, instead of doing this, we can create a new twin service. So twin service create, and this takes 3 parameters. The first one is the instance, so the thing that you want to change, and that is our health field bar. The second parameter is the twin info we created up here, so we just reference it. And the third parameter is the change that you want to apply. So create a table, then do size here, and add the following. Alright, so now if I run the game, and oh, I forgot one thing. You have to play it as well. Don't forget that. And now, if I go ahead and change the health from 100 to 50, you see it animates. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. The next video is an exciting one. We will be discussing how to make the camera system, and hopefully this video was helpful to you guys. If it was, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and see you next time.